Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking D3 financial aid, specifically how to get more of it at the schools that you are accepted to. So this is peak admission season. People are getting letters back from schools. We've been talking to some families who have been getting that acceptance they've been working for, but encountering a challenge, namely that they did not get as much money from the school in merit, in total aid as they expected. So the reason we're making this video, the reason we're taking you behind the scenes and showing you this newsletter right here that we haven't even released is because we don't want people to walk away from the Division III level and from the opportunity to play your sport just because that first financial aid offer is not what you wanted. And here's why. Most people don't realize that aid offers are not always final. That's point one. Two, schools expect questions and appeals for the most part. At the Division III level, unless a school on their website says we don't negotiate financial aid, there's usually going to be some back and forth about that number. And last but not least, you might have more leverage than you think as an athlete when you're applying. So let's get into it. Understand that it can be uncomfortable to talk about money, but you have an advocate in the coach that's recruiting you, which is a huge advantage over other applicants. And if done correctly, it can save you thousands of dollars on your college tuition. So let's talk about it. 5 ways to break it down and hopefully reduce your cost of college. So the first thing you need to do is understand the aid package that you've been given. So here we go. We're going to cover three things: grants and scholarships, what is basically free money here. So this is obviously the best if you got a full ride of merit money. There's no better option there. You don't have to pay it back. And at a lot of D3 schools, once you apply, you submit that application, you're automatically considered for this. So that's great. But you do need to make sure that the schools you're applying to, there are not separate additional merit scholarships that are out there, because there could be money you're missing out on. So we found one today, Millikan University in Illinois. They have a STEM, community service, and a full ride presidential scholarship. So that's $0 out of your pocket. But all of these are only accessible once you've been admitted to the school. So they have a separate portal for you to apply to, with a separate application timeline. But again, you have to be into the school, and then it's a separate process. So here are the deadlines: fall 26 term. They have a video from someone who's a presidential scholar. But again, this is important, because the timelines are pretty aggressive. So right now, it's September 15th. So this one has already passed for Millikan, but other schools might have similar opportunities that you just need to be aware of, and you don't want to miss out. Again, like people would have with this one in Millikan. So other options, things that might be in there that'll help you reduce the cost of tuition: work study, on campus job. Sometimes for athletes, this is working in the athletics department. So you can be a ball boy or girl at a soccer game, or you can work in the library. And then last but not least, they'll often have loans in there to meet the final portion of your payment. Just be aware, regardless of what they're called, make sure to dig in, because loans are not aid. As a lot of people assume, it is debt that you'll have to service in the future. So just understand what you're agreeing to there. So um, next up, compare your offers from different schools. So this is a useful tool. And what you need to compare here is not the size of a scholarship that you're given, because that is not really what's important. You need to compare the remaining amount. So the rest of the tuition that you're going to have to be responsible for. And this is where it can be helpful to apply to multiple schools. If you apply ED, you're kind of removing this option for yourself, but um, definitely something that colleges will not do automatically. And a tip that we think you should do is keep it to peer institutions. So schools that have similar academic size or selectivity. If you're applying to some public schools, which are big, and some small private schools, that is really not going to carry a lot of weight, because they're going to have very different processes. So Again, keep it to similar schools if you're going to compare your offers. Next up, file an appeal. So this is, you know, something that sounds scary. It sounds legal, uh, but keep it fact-based. We've seen this work for students and recruits that we've helped. Here are a couple reasons that you can go to the admissions and financial aid department after you've gotten in to say, hey, I think we need a little more money based on our situation. Um, we will fill some of these in the final newsletter, but just high level loss of income. Did something change between the time you applied and right now that's going to change your family's ability to pay for college? Um, Medical expenses, family changes, new academic or merit achievements. Did you do something since the application that would add to your resume and maybe earn you a little extra money? And then last but not least, sometimes errors happen in FAFSA or the CSS profile. So double check that the information provided is still accurate. And then throughout this whole process, document. So do this over email instead of phone. That way you have a record of what you sent and maybe what the school has sent back to you, just in case something changes. Okay, we talked about this a little at the top, but talk to the coach. This is your advocate through the process. They want you to go to their school. They can't necessarily lobby for you, but they can help you figure out who to talk to. So, you know, this is a starting point question. Is there any flexibility with financial aid? And they might not be able to say, yeah, we can give you X amount exactly, but they know who to talk to because they likely work down the hall from them or a short walk away from them on campus. And again, this is your advocate, something that not every student going to the school or applying to the school has in their back pocket. We wrote another post called the D3 Athletes Admissions Advantage, which is all about this. If you want to check it out, it's also going to be in our course very soon. So check that out. Last but not least, you always have outside scholarships. Every single week, we do this newsletter called Scholarship Sunday, where we parse through all of the scholarship sites out there on the internet and try to bring you one or two upcoming deadlines that are actual scholarships, not these um, sweepstakes or super large scholarships that you have little to no chance to win. So, um, you know, we think every $1,000 or so helps, especially over the course of 4 years. Make sure to start looking at those early. Don't wait to get to junior year or senior year before you start looking, because right now is the best time to start. Finally, let's get to the end here. A financial aid package at a Division III school is not a final verdict. It's just the starting point. So make sure you ask smart questions, provide your documentation, and follow up with the school. And there's a chance you pay less than the first offer that you see, because that could be a lowball offer. So again, before you walk away from your dream school, don't forget to appeal and try to get a little less. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Make sure to let us know if you like this and if you want to see similar topics in the future. Thanks.